How's it going, everybody? It's Riley's Redzone here, back with another video, and in today's video, I will be giving my Week 6 NFL picks for every game on the docket this week, and you want to start keeping an eye out for your fantasy lineups because not all the teams are playing this week. Bye weeks have officially started, so there are only 14 games this week, so I will be picking every one of them. Starting with what happened on Thursday, you can follow my Twitter at Riley Redzone for those picks. Any games that happened before Sunday will be made on the Twitter. And I picked the Commanders. Ended up being a very close one. Came down to the wire. A little bit uneventful, but the Commanders do get the win. So it's great to start the week out 1-0. Next, we're going to go to the Niners and the Falcons. I'm going to go with the Niners here. I think they have enough offensively to still get the job done versus the Falcons. And then the Patriots and the Browns. I'm going to pick an upset. It is still uncertain what is going to happen with Mac Jones. He's still listed as questionable. Patriots also have a few other guys out, but I'm saying I'm going to take the upset here. It's a bit of a chance, a bit of just kind of a feeling. Even if Bailey Zappi ends up starting, I think that, they had a great week last week against the Lions, so I think that they can keep that rolling. The Browns are favored, though, in this matchup. After playing a close game last week. So I'm going to go with the Patriots here, even with some injuries. I think that they'll have enough to get the job done versus Cleveland. Then the Jets, who I've been smart to pick the last few weeks, and they've come through with a few upsets, at least, according to a lot of people. But I think that the Packers will bounce back this week after the shocking loss in London last week. I looked at the scoreboard, thought they were good. I checked back hour and a half, 2 hours later, and they all of a sudden lost the game. But I think they're going to bounce back this week. I like what the Jets are up to. They're definitely, making some good plays and some impactful wins, but I think the Packers bounce back here and take that win. Jaguars-Colts honestly might be one of the hardest games to predict this week because we've seen the Jaguars, beat the Colts at home week 1. It seems like that's a secret weapon is the Jaguars against the Colts in Jacksonville, but now they're at the Colts, and both teams have kind of been up and down. The Colts started slow, then they got a win against the Chiefs that was unexpected, and then, they still have not performed to a great level overall because Matt Ryan has not really performed. And then the Jaguars kind of tricked some people into thinking they were a good team, and now they have kind of sunk down a little bit. So it's very hard to predict. I'm going to go with the Colts because they're at home. I said they split the series, but this one, tough call. Vikings, Dolphins, definitely more confident in the Vikings pick if Skylar Thompson, is starting here because of the other injuries, unfortunately, to Tua and Teddy. So I'm going to go with the Vikings there. I think that there's a chance I would have gone with the Vikings still, even if it was Teddy starting. Tua starting might be a different question, and I know that Teddy is a solid quarterback, but I think Tua started getting some chemistry. But unfortunately, neither of those QBs are available for them. So I'm going to go with the Vikings there, which would be a crazy start for them because it feels like they shouldn't deserve to be there, but they're just playing who's on their schedule. Bengals, Saints, I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow and that offense, I think T. Higgins is maybe not going to play, but I still think that they will have enough to do, a good job on offense to score. So the Saints, I just think, are still waiting a bit for Jameis's health, and I think that the Bengals get this one. Ravens-Giants is surprisingly a very good game because the Giants have been keeping it rolling, but I think the Ravens have, pound for pound, one of the best overall rosters in the league. Lamar is playing at a high level. I think that the Giants, though, I give absolute credit to. Getting a win last week against the Packers kind of did prove that, okay, they're pretty solid, but I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I just think they have the better overall roster. And then the Bucs versus Steelers. I've said it before. I personally am not a huge Kenny Pickett fan of the way he, just the level of what he's playing at. And I know we'll give him some time, but they have been destroyed over the last few weeks. And so I'm going to go with the Bucs here. I think that Tom Brady gets it done. Controversial win last week over the Falcons, but I think the Bucs get it done for real, for sure, this game. Panthers, first game with Steve Wilks. Matt Rule is fired. I honestly think that was a decent call because it was clear they weren't going to right this ship. And overall, it's just smart to make the move now. I mean, it's kind of shocking how poor the performances were, but if you're going to just rebuild, it's smart to do it now. We'll see if they end up getting a top QB in the draft next year instead of keeping their rotation going. So I think the Rams get a win here against the Panthers. I mean, I think that the Panthers could, whenever a team gets an interim head coach, it seems like they always pull off some sneaky wins, but I don't think that happens this week. I'm going with the Seahawks over the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals have had some great moments offensively this year. Kyler's playing real well, but I think Geno is playing at an extremely high level, and I think that there's been a few weeks, like last week against the Saints, where they maybe just don't quite get the right end of the stick, but Geno's doing all he can do, and so at some point I think that's going to pay off and they get a win, and so I'm going to say they upset the Cardinals here in what should be a good game. And the Bills and Chiefs, I think pound for pound the best game overall this week, and I am a huge proponent of the Bills. I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and I've done this a little bit now recently, it feels like. They have a bit of injuries. They're starting to get some players back, though, but I just think that this is one of those games where it feels like the Chiefs win. It feels like in the last few years, because I have been a huge supporter of the Bills' Super Bowl chances, that they kind of sometimes seem to, in the regular season, maybe lose to some tougher opponents. I do think in the playoffs, this is a different story, but I just have a feeling right now at home, the Chiefs have the experience in this type of high-level game. So I do think the Bills are the best team in the league, but on this week, I'm going to take the chance that the Chiefs get it done, and I'm also going to take the chance that the Cowboys beat the Eagles. Another upset there. The Eagles are undefeated, and absolute credit to them. This, I think, was the toughest game for me to pick, but something just keeps happening with the Cowboys. I mean, it's been hard to pick against them at this point. They are doing everything right, and I think that this could be a potential upset. I just think it would be crazy for any team to remain undefeated this long with the way things have been going this year. So at some point, I think they stumble. I'm going to go with the Cowboys here. Cooper Rush is on fire, so I'm going to keep that going. And then the Broncos-Chargers, the Broncos have just been overall disappointing. I mean, this is something where I am interested to see where their team will be after the offseason. And I'm going to go with Herbert and the Chargers here. I think Herbert's putting in an MVP level performance, and we're going to see how that ends up turning out. So those are my picks for this week. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully they turn out good for you, and that we get a lot of them right. So I will see you in the next video.